So we've had vaccines for measles, for polio, for smallpox, for swine flu. How is this different?
Well, I think it's different in a lot of ways because it's so new. Even though it's very safe, it's very effective. We know that. I believe that. There are people that have doubt that's out there because they haven't been all three fully authorized yet, and then mixed messaging out of the Biden administration. And plus, just like the AIDS vaccine, mandating it didn't work. It only worked when they started educating people why it was a good idea. That's what we need to continue to do with the COVID vaccine.
So let's just think about this for a minute, because Governor Kemp is right. The AIDS vaccine mandate didn't work. Only the reason that it didn't work is because there is literally no AIDS vaccine. Just, for starters. Here we have yet another prominent Republican twisting himself into pretzels to push back against the most safe and effective measure that exists to fight against this pandemic. This time going so far as to concoct an imaginary vaccine, pretend that it was mandated, and then deciding that that mandate failed. Now, Kemp does try and hedge his bets here by offering some tepid support for the vaccine, saying that we need to educate people on why that's a good idea. But here's the thing, we have tried that. The vaccine has been available for about 9 months now. Pfizer is FDA approved. They are monumentally safe and effective. Of the people hospitalized and dying of this virus, 99% of them are unvaccinated. Those vaccines are free, they're readily available, healthcare professionals are practically begging people to take them. What more education do people need? What's different now than the last month or the month before that, other than the fact that more of the unvaccinated continue to contract the virus and get hospitalized and die? All of that's to say that relying on education is not enough. The fact is that if we simply wait for everyone to be convinced, all we're doing is allowing variants to proliferate. And if the virus mutates enough and ultimately renders the original vaccine ineffective, then it won't matter how many people we've convinced to take the vaccine, because it won't even work. By taking a wait-and-see approach, we're actually undermining the very solution that we're trying to convince people to trust. And beyond that, vaccine mandates work. United Airlines imposed a mandate, and that resulted in most of their remaining staffers getting the vaccine. The same mandate has been replicated across the private sector. And while Republicans warned that it would lead to mass resignations, not only has that absolutely not been the case, but in fact, many resignations have come in response to employers who opt not to protect their employees with any vaccine mandates. For example, at the University of Oklahoma, some faculty and staff have either sent their families out of the state or left their jobs altogether as state policies prohibited vaccination or mask mandates. Turns out people tend to want to survive. Who could have possibly seen that coming? Consider too, we already have a long history of vaccine mandates in this country for kids who go to public schools, and they've never been a problem. In fact, not only haven't they been a problem, they've eradicated diseases like polio. The only difference with the COVID vaccine is that the Republican Party has decided to politicize it. That's all. Again, this vaccine is safe, it's effective, it's been used by billions with a B of people. But because the Democrats support it, the de facto position for a Republican Party that only knows contrarianism is to oppose it, regardless of how safe or effective it is. Regardless of the fact that that very opposition means their own base will die at an exponentially higher rate than everyone else. Right now, Republican states have more cases per capita than blue states and more deaths per capita than blue states, all while being less vaccinated than blue states. That even those statistics aren't an immediate 5-alarm fire for Republican leadership is a testament to the fact that that party isn't being led by anything other than their own blinding partisanship. Honestly, if you're a Republican voter and you're watching those disproportionately in your own party die at staggering rates, and your leadership's response is to maintain the status quo, then that might be a signal that your party doesn't have the right priorities. So instead of offering these tepid bits of encouragement and qualifying that encouragement with all of these warnings, if Kemp even had a shred of leadership, he'd simply say, get the vaccine. And if you don't get it, that's your choice, but life will be very difficult because our priority has to be catering to the people who have taken the steps to protect themselves, instead of bending over backwards for the people who are refusing the vaccine and only prolonging this pandemic. But of course, he won't ever say that, because part of being a Republican today is showing just how much you've capitulated to an overwhelmingly anti-science, pro-COVID base. Kemp is nothing more than an empty suit, and the fact that his state has one of the highest per capita death rates in the country is a direct result of that absent leadership. If you enjoyed that video and you're looking for a deeper dive, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. It's a no BS look at the top stories of the week, along with interviews with the top names in politics, like Vice President Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Katie Porter, Pete Buttigieg, and more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, click the subscribe link right here on this screen to join the more than 1 million people who've already subscribed to my channel. And finally, to donate to my Don't Be a Mitch fund, where I'm raising money for a whole raft of different voter outreach and voter registration groups in the closest states ahead of midterms in 2022, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Texas. You can find that link on this screen as well. Thanks for watching.